Hi, hello, welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Chloe, and on this channel we talk about all things books. So, long time no see. Life has been very busy the last couple of weeks. However, this is an exciting weekend for two reasons. The first one being it is a bank holiday weekend, and the second one being that it is the last weekend in August. So that means that September is right around the corner, which also means it is almost fantasy season. Now, what do you mean by that, Chloe? I hear you say. Well, let me tell you, dear stranger on the internet. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but in case I haven't, my brain is a little bit fucked up. So not only am I a mood reader, I also am a seasonal reader. So what I mean by that is it only makes sense to my brain to read romance and contemporary books in summer and fantasy, sci-fi, etc. in winter. So all summer long, I have been trying to make my way through my romance and contemporary books, and I'm getting a bit sick of it. They're not really the books that I want to read all of the time, but I know that if I don't read them during the summer, I probably never will. If I don't read them the year that I get them, it's highly unlikely that I'll then read them the following year because there will be more books that I buy, inevitably. Now, that's not to say that there's not a little bit of crossover, so every now and then if I just need a palate cleanser, I will read a fantasy in between or a romance in between. It's not like a hard and fast rule, but for the most part I get all of my contemporaries, romances, etc. out during spring, summer, and then after that it is open season for the fantasies. So I am very, very, very excited for the start of fantasy season as of the 1st of September. However, there are a lot of romances that I have bought and have not read. So what I thought would be a fun way to end the summer of reading is to do a readathon. Now, I've never done a 24-hour readathon before, but I thought it would just be a really good way to try and get through as many books as possible. Even if I get through about 3 or 4, I will be over the moon. Now, again, if I've not mentioned it before, for anyone who doesn't know, I am a chronically slow reader. It's painful how slow it takes me, or how slow I am at reading. So I don't have very high hopes for how many books I'll get through, but I'm gonna set my sights high and try and aim for about 3 or 4. That would be ideal. Now, in case for whatever reason you have been living under a rock and you haven't seen any other booktubers do a 24-hour readathon, first of all, what are you doing? Secondly, there are 2 ways of doing it. You can either do the full 24 hours straight through, or you can split it up into 2 12-hour chunks and do it in 2 halves. Now, the people who do it 24 hours straight through should be equal parts feared and revered throughout society. These people have supernatural abilities, they have self-control that no human being should ever have the business of having. So I won't be doing that. I'm gonna split mine up into 2 12-hour chunks. So I've already got a rough idea of the books that I want to read. I'm going to have a quick look through my bookshelf though and just see if there's any other ones, which there might be, I'm not sure. I think I'll probably pick out maybe about 6 of them so that I've got a bit of a choice. Because yeah, I don't want to just try and power on through if I'm not enjoying something. I want to be able to swap back and forth between other things if I want. So yeah, let's have a look at that first. The first one that I'm definitely going to be reading though is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Now, I've already started this one. I started reading this at the beginning of the week and I'm pretty decent amount of the way through it. I'm 260 pages in. well, 68, so let's call it 270. So I've got less than 100 pages to go, so I'll finish reading this one first, and then we need to pick some other ones. Oh. You know when you make a cup of tea and it's really good? Okay, so I've picked 6 other books that I can pick and choose between during the next 24 hours. I'm going to rapid fire try and get through these because I want to start at about 2 o'clock and it is currently 5:02. So the first one I have picked is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Then we have Just My Type by Fallon Ballard. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. And Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So all of these books I am quite looking forward to getting to. And I've tried to pick ones that, one, I actually want to read and I'm still excited for after my run of romance books this summer. I don't know if it's just me, but romance books to me get very formulaic. They become very predictable. You know what you're getting with them. And I think that's part of the reason why I get sick of reading them after a while. But for the most part, these ones I am still very much looking forward to reading. And they are all pretty short. So I think I'm going to be able to get through them quite quickly. Or at least I hope I do. So I'm going to start with The Dead Romantics anyway. I'll try to get through the last, say, I think I've got about 80 or so pages left. And then I will pick which one of these 6 I want to get to. Okay, that was really sad. That was just... Romance books or contemporary books are supposed to be happy. That's why we read them in the summer. Anyway, I need to go and change the battery on my camera because it looks like it's about to die. We're only half an hour in, so it's not a very good start. So I'm gonna leave the timer running because it will take me like 2 minutes. That's actually a good point. I'm gonna leave the timer running all day. I'm not going to pause it when I'm eating or whatever because otherwise this is going to take me about a week to do. So I'm just going to need to keep trying to read as much as possible and limit the breaks where I can. Okay, I have just finished The Dead Romantics. I really enjoyed this book. It got a little bit slow in the middle. I thought the concept was really interesting though, and it definitely was an enjoyable ending. It did drag out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it probably could have finished like 20-30 pages before it actually did, but it was good. I think I'll probably end up giving it about a 3.5 stars. But I don't think I'm gonna do any of like my reviews or anything until the end and I've actually had time to sit and think about it. The time is, where's my phone? It is just after 4 o'clock. So I finished the book a little while ago. I went onto Goodreads and marked it as read and then got caught reading reviews of it for about half an hour. So it took me about an hour and a half to finish it, and then I had a quick look through the pile of books that I have, and I think I'm going to go for Carrie Soto is Back as my next read. I was going to go for one of the shorter ones, but I feel like I just need a little bit of a break from a heavy romance, and the rest of them are romances. So I'm going to go with this one first and see how far we can get through. I'll probably try and read until about 6 o'clock and then stop and have some food and then carry on for the rest of the night. I also quickly walked around to the shop and got myself some wine for the evening. So whether or not we'll actually be able to last until 2 in the morning remains to be seen. But let's make a start on this one. Time for another update. So it is 5:30. I am, how many pages in? 79 pages in. I'm really enjoying this so far. I think Taylor Jenkins Reid is just forever going to be one of those authors that I just love everything that she puts out. I'm really liking this one. I'm glad that I picked this up. I'm going to have a quick break for some food. I'm just going to leave the timer running though, as I said earlier. And I will pick up again after dinner. So I'm hoping that I can finish this tonight. Whether I will finish it or not depends on how well the wine goes down. But we'll see. But first, food. Okay, dinner done. I did a little bit more reading whilst I was having food. And now we are gonna sit back down in a slightly comfier spot this time and try and get through some more of this book. I really want to push to try and have this one finished tonight. So I don't think that there's going to be very many check-ins. I don't think this is going to be a very interesting watch. But yeah, I'm just going to try and power through some more of this book and see where we get to. Sneeze. No, maybe. Okay, excuse me. All right, I am 160 pages in, and it's 8 o'clock. So I have just under 6 hours left. And I'm about 30 or so pages away from being at the halfway mark. I am loving this book. It's really good. It actually feels like I'm watching the matches unfold. The tension is great, the hype is great, the build-up is amazing. It feels so exciting. It doesn't feel as if it's dragging. The pacing is phenomenal. I'm really enjoying this one. I think this, depending on how the rest of the book goes, could even potentially be a 5-star read. Maybe. We shall see. Okay, I have relocated onto my bed because the chair is getting a bit uncomfortable, but I am 208 pages in out of 364, so making good progress. It is 9:30 and it is finally time for some wine to keep me going. I can start to feel myself wanting to wind down a little bit now, so I'm just hoping that this will keep it fun so that I don't fall asleep at some point within the next half hour because I'm a pensioner in a 26-year-old's body. Anyway, I've got about 50 pages to go before I reach my first sort of big break that I wanted to get to, so let's power on through. I did it! I finished. Carrie Soto is back. I have just under 1 hour left in my first 12-hour block. So I'm gonna make a little start on my next book. I don't know what to read, but I'm leaning towards Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I'll start reading it tonight. I'll probably not get very far through it, to be honest with you, because I'm so tired. I just want to go to bed. But even if I get like 30-40 pages in over the next hour and see what I think about it, and if I'm not enjoying it, I can always start something else tomorrow. Yeah. This will be the first Carly Fortune book that I've read as well, so it'll be interesting to see what I think about it. We are finished at last. The 12-hour timer has finally gone off. That last 10-15 minutes just seemed to drag in. I am so tired. I think I only got about maybe 30 pages or so into Every Summer After, and actually I'm enjoying it. It's a dual timeline, which I didn't realise it was going to be. So if it continues on like that, I think I'll enjoy it, because I did really like People You Meet on Vacation. Obviously it's a slightly different vibe, but yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy this one. It's only about 300 pages, so I think I'll get through it pretty quickly as well. But for now, it's time for bed, at last. So, good night. Morning, or well, actually that's a lie. It is not morning at all. It is 12:10. So it is the next day, obviously, and I really don't want to start reading again. But I also don't want to be up as late as I was last night, so I'm gonna try and start for about 12:30 and try to have Every Summer After finished by about tea time, and then I can move on to the next one. I honestly don't know how people do these 24-hour challenges on a regular basis, because the thought of having to do this again anytime soon is just destroying my soul. So I think though, I am glad that I did it though, because I think it will be a good thing to do at the end of the year again though, just to try and get through as many books as I can for my Goodreads goal. But right now, I'm finding it really hard to find the motivation to actually start reading again. I'm really glad that I picked this book though, because it's so short. It will make me feel accomplished when I get through it reasonably quickly. But first, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, get myself comfortable on the couch, and then settle in for a whole day of reading. I was going to go and read outside. It was actually quite sunny this morning. And sod's law, as soon as I got dressed and had a shower and was ready to go outside, it started raining. So there's that. I will be staying indoors today again. So cup of tea and couch it is. Anyway, let's go, because I want to start for 12:30. Okay, the timer is on. 12 hours to go again. Woo! 25 past midnight is when we're going to be finishing today. I think I'm going to try and aim for having this finished for about 5 o'clock. I know 5 hours to read 300 pages doesn't like sounds horrendous, but I did say yesterday I'm a really slow reader, but I also get very easily distracted. So I think that's a good goal. 300 pages in 5 hours. We can do this. Okay, let's start. Hello. So I have a bit of an update. It's the next day, and yesterday's reading was a complete disaster, which is okay, that's fine, we can make up for it today. But basically yesterday I started my timer, I did a solid hour of reading, and then my dad called and I had an hour-long conversation with him on the phone, and then I accidentally took a 2-hour nap. And then I woke up and had some food, and then I had to go out and do a few little bits and pieces, and I actually didn't get home until about 7 o'clock. And by that point I had still only done an hour's worth of reading and had 11 to go. So there was no point in me continuing on. I just sort of reset the timer. I had accidentally left it going, so I reset it to 11 hours. I'd done a little bit of reading last night and a little bit more this morning whilst I was having breakfast, and I now have 7 hours left. So I did about 3 hours reading last night, an hour this morning, and now we have 7 to go. So that being said though, I did make pretty good progress on my book. I think I only have about 90 pages. Ugh, it's over there. I can't be bothered going to get it. But I've got about 90 or so pages left of Every Summer After. I am enjoying it. I think it's good. I don't think it's going to be like another 5-star read. But maybe like 3.5, 3.75, depending on how it ends. So I am enjoying it. And then, yeah, we get to pick out our 4th book of the Readathon. I don't know if I'll finish that, but we'll see. So I'm hoping to get through these next 50 or so pages, well, 90 or so pages in the next hour, and then I'll check in. Okay. I will see you soon. Soon. We are back. The snacks have been acquired. I have some Haribo and some Pringles. I have some juice, and I've picked my next book. So I'm going to read Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I was going to read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert because it's a little bit shorter, but oh, hang on, you're cutting off half my head. I feel like it's very similar to what I've just read, and I wanted something a little bit different. So, you know, just with it being set in the whole like cabin in the woods sort of vibe, Every Summer After was a little bit like that as well. So I just wanted a different setting, hence Love Theoretically. A lot of people have recommended this. I put a poll up on my Instagram as well, and a lot of people said that this was a really easy read, so I'm hoping to have this finished. I don't know if I will, but I hope I do. It is 3:30 just now, and I still have 5 hours left of the readathon, so I'm going to read through to 6:30, and then I'll pause and have some food, and then see where I'm at for the last couple of hours. But for now, let's get started. Also, let me just open all of my snacks. Pringles first. I'm sorry for anyone who hates eating sounds. Or is that ASMR? Is that a thing? Do people still listen to that? Okay. This is really cute. The dedication in the book says, "To all my readers from the AO3 days to where we are now, the Adam and Olive cameo is for you." I'm so happy that they're going to make a little show in this one. This is going to be fun. Okay, right. Now we're concentrating. Do people actually make money from being a fake girlfriend? Is that a thing? Because if it is, let me know. Just saying. I've been reading for 15 minutes and I've just realised that I forgot to hit play on my timer. That's so annoying. Like, it's not that big a deal, but it's also really annoying. Anyway, now we are actually starting again. I got 10 free pages of reading done outside of my timer. So there's that. Also, these Haribos are going down way too easily. I keep telling myself to pace myself with them, but it's not happening. So, oh, see, look, they're just running to me. Anyway, I am officially in the last 2 hours. I've just stopped to have a break to have some dinner, and I have only got, let's have a look, 2 hours and 7 minutes left, and it is 25 to 8. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get this book finished tonight. In fact, I know I probably won't finish it because I'm only 100 pages in. However, I do want to try and get to about page 300 before the timer finishes. I'm not going to push myself too much though, because I'm starting to get a little bit fed up of reading just constantly. And I do have a few things that I still need to do tonight. Like, I've got some poster orders that I need to pack and sort out for the postman to collect tomorrow morning. So yeah, try and get through this last 150 pages maybe, and then I'm going to consider that a good effort. Oh, excuse me. That was good timing. Okay. I'm done. I am officially finished my 24-hour readathon. I didn't get... Oh, you're a little bit far down. I didn't get as many pages through this as I wanted to. I'm 200 in. So I'm about 50 short of where I actually wanted to end up. But I'm still pretty happy with that effort. I'm a little bit over halfway. So I am pleased with that. Okay. Hello. It is the next day and I just thought I would come in here just to wrap everything up and give you a bit of an overview or a recap of what I read and my thoughts, because I realised going through it that I didn't actually tell you what I thought about any of the books after I had finished them. So here I am to do that now. Lucky you. So, all in all, I was really happy with how much I got through. I ended up finishing Love Theoretically today, so I'm counting that. I read, I'm going to say 3.5 books, because technically I was already about halfway through The Dead Romantics. Well, a little bit more than that, but so 3.5 books in 24 hours worth of reading is not too bad for someone like me who reads ridiculously slow. So let's just jump straight into my thoughts. I'll try and keep them as non-spoilery as I can. I was actually pleasantly surprised. The only one that was a little bit of a disappointment actually was the first one, Dead Romantics. So for those of you who don't know, this book by Ashley Poston follows a ghostwriter who has to go home because of a personal tragedy, and whilst she's away, her editor dies and she can see ghosts. So he turns up at her family home and they have to try and work out why he's there, why she can see him, and what it is that they have to do to help him move on. However, throughout that whole process, they fall for each other, and it's sort of them trying to navigate those feelings when, you know, it's not exactly the most advisable of relationships. Anyway, it was good, it was okay. I ended up giving it a 3 stars. This book, now I don't know about anyone else, but once I've finished reading a book, I go on to Goodreads and I like to read the reviews of it before I make my final decision. Like, I already know in my head roughly what I'm going to review or what I'm going to rate it, but I like to make sure that other people's reviews for that many stars sort of match what I think. And I noticed when I was looking through it that there's a lot of 5-star reviews for this book, like a lot. It's almost got a 4.0 rating on Goodreads. And to be honest with you, I was really surprised when I saw that, because I just didn't think it was that good. Like, it was okay, it was enjoyable, it was a different-ish take on the whole workplace romance trope, but I mean, it wasn't mind blowing. And also, anybody who refers to coffee as Zoom Zoom juice does not deserve anything more than 3 stars, in my opinion, because that was just every time I read that, I couldn't help but cringe. Anyway, it seemed to me like the main character, Florence, was just a bit up herself, to be honest. Like, sometimes I just felt like giving her a shake and telling her to get over herself a little bit. The male main character was just me. It was okay. It was a little bit insta love for me, but you know, it was alright. I would still recommend it if you are a avid romance reader. Like I said, it's definitely a slightly different take on it, so yeah, I would probably still recommend it, but just okay for me. Next up, I read Carrie Soto is Back, and I think I probably mentioned it at the time, but I ended up giving this a 5-star rating. Now, I just loved it. I really enjoyed seeing more depth to Carrie Soto's character. We get a very small glimpse of her in Malibu Rising, and I know you don't have to read Taylor Jenkins Reid books in an order, but I'm glad that I read Malibu Rising first to see her just like a very minor side character, and then get to read from her point of view. I really liked it. I thought it was so interesting. I know very little about tennis. I know a little bit, but yeah, not enough to be, considered knowledgeable on it, but I was actually really invested in it, and it felt like I was watching the events unfold. So all of the different slams that she was at, I actually felt as if I was there watching them, and I flew through those parts of the book. I just thought it was so fun. So yeah, if you haven't read this one, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do it. It's probably one of my favourite Taylor Jenkins Reid books so far. In fact, maybe even my favourite, possibly my favourite. Mm. Well, is it? I kind of also, when I was looking through the reviews, I heard that the audiobook was, or read that the audiobook was really good as well. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, I wish I had got it because I know hers are always really, really enjoyable. Like Daisy Jones and the Six, I loved listening to that. So I might have to get it as well and give that a listen because I think it's full cast. Anyway, moving on. The next book I read was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and this was a really quick read. It's only just under 300 pages, and I flew through this in the second sort of 12-hour slot. I actually enjoyed this one more than I thought I was going to. It doesn't really bring anything different to the table. It's very much what it sounds like. It's dual timeline, so you get the two main characters who were childhood friends, lovers, sort of. But there was an event that caused them to fall out. They haven't spoken in a really long time, and then the female main character ends up having to go back to. It's not quite their hometown. It's like his hometown, but her summer house. And they meet again, and you're getting their point of view now as they are sort of reconciling their feelings and thoughts on each other. And then you also get the past timeline where you follow them every summer up until the event where they fall out and don't speak to each other again. It's very reminiscent of People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which I also really liked. And yeah, as I say, I like this one more than I thought I was going to. I ended up giving it 3.75 stars. I mean, it's not going to end up on my all-time favourites list, but I am glad I read it. I enjoyed it. Would I recommend it? Probably. If you like Carly Fortune books, this is the first one of hers that I ever read, so I don't know how it matches up to any of her other ones. But yeah, I thought this was good. Last up, and the one that I finished today then, was Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Now, very first time I mentioned this was in my mid-year freak out tag, and I said that I wasn't going to read it, and then I caved into the pressure and the hype, and now I've read it. I'm glad that I did. It was different enough from the Love Hypothesis that I enjoyed it, but it was also extremely similar. So the main characters in this one are Elsie, excuse me, Jack. They are basically Adam and Olive. Let's be real here. Adam and Olive did have a cameo in this, which I really appreciated. That's the main characters from the Love Hypothesis. But yeah, they are basically Adam and Olive. The only difference between Jack and Adam is that Adam is very closed off and reserved about his feelings, whereas Jack is quite open about them. This was actually going really well, and I was less than 100 pages to the end, and I thought, okay, we haven't had a ridiculous conflict here. This might be one of those ones where they just get together and actually the conflict isn't anything to do with the relationship. And we move on and everything's all hunky-dory. And then the conflict happened, and it was the most utterly ridiculous thing I have ever read. And I say this a lot, like a lot, almost every time I review any sort of romance novel. But the falling out, the thing that caused them to, have that bit of third act tension, was it just didn't make any sense. I feel like they just fell out really over nothing, and it was all just taken a little bit too far. But anyway, it was just one big overreaction in my opinion, but it was resolved quick enough. The last maybe 10 pages or so felt a little bit like I was kind of just wanting it to be over, and maybe it could have been about 50 pages shorter, but it was fine. It was okay. I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't know if I'll read any more Ali Hazelwood books, and I said this last time, and I did, but they are just the same. And I know that that's the point, but the storylines are very similar and the characters are very similar as well, and I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm going to have to leave it another year in between before I'm ready to read any more of her books. Anyway, that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was somewhat interesting for you. Please consider liking and subscribing if you want to hear more of my bookish ramblings, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!